Hello, 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 and welcome back to Grow Your Business for Good. This is the podcast that helps purpose-driven entrepreneurs create sustainable, effective business strategies that actually work. And today we're tackling a huge challenge for coaches and consultants: sales funnels. Oh, it's the F word. If you've ever poured your heart and soul into the F word, funnel, and it's not bringing you joy or the sales you expected, have no fear, you're not alone. In most cases, sales funnels don't work as well as people want them to. But don't worry, we're here to help you fix that today. Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good. Over the past decade or so, we've consulted with countless business owners, and we've really been able to pinpoint the three biggest reasons why most sales funnels flop. We look at a lot of people's sales funnels, y'all, a lot. And so I think one of those reasons is they were built on outdated or untrue assumptions about their ideal client. And it really prioritizes the selling over the connection. The other piece that we see is the structure is just all wrong. It is way too linear for how people actually buy. And we think about the psychology of how people make their decisions, way too linear. And then the third reason I really think is the messaging is not resonating at all with the perfect fit clients that they actually want to attract. And so being able to dive in deeper on that and figure out the right messaging is so, so important. Like you can kind of tell they might have used like ChatGPT or something just very vague and plain. And that's not joyful.
Not joyful. And I just came off doing a couple of keynotes out in Denver where I was asked to speak. And one of the things I made the audience repeat for 45 minutes, people buy when they feel. Mm-hmm. People buy when they feel. All together now, people buy when they feel. All right. And the reason this is so important is because that shitty copy that ChatGPT is spitting out has zero ability to make people feel. It's not a human. All right. So if you're going to use it to generate ideas, great. But if you're like, wow, I'm like getting all these great ideas, but they're not converting, and I'm using my own content or I'm using AI generated content, I just want you to understand that messaging is my gift. Messaging is Amy's gift.
Right.
Right. And so we have to have the ability to make people feel in their funnels, in our funnels, make people feel in our marketing, because they will not buy until they feel something. So today we're going to walk you through a fresh approach to sales funnels, one that prioritizes trust, connection, and flexibility. And I also want to give you a reminder. If you've been listening to our podcast for the last couple of seasons, we have transformed from the traditional capitalistic quarterly Q1, Q2, and so on model to the seasonal rhythm and flow, and running our business by the wisdom of nature and the wisdom of seasons. So if you're listening to this, we are recording in April 2025. We have just entered the spring season. The spring season is all about preparing those fields. We'll call it a sales field today. All right. Planting those seeds, having new beginnings, weeding out what's no longer serving you, all so that you can make shifts that result in substantial business growth. So let's start by redefining what a sales funnel actually is. Traditionally, a sales funnel is thought of as a structured journey, right? And it's going to guide someone from discovering you, discovering your business, discovering your lead magnet, discovering your thought leadership, to eventually becoming a client. However, that definition is just way too rigid for how people actually buy. And this is what Amy was talking about just a little bit ago, which is if it's so linear like that, right, it is not going to work because most people don't move in a straight line at anything, y'all. Right? Our business journeys go up and down. We choose this city, then we choose that city to live in, then we choose this job, then we go over here, then we have kids, and it all gets screwed up. So when you build a sales funnel that is in a straight line from, oh, look who I am and look how I can help you, to buy from me, right? What you're missing in there is that people actually jump in at different stages of their business. They need time to build trust in you. They may require different kinds of engagement before making a big purchasing decision. And that's why we prefer terms like sales pipeline or sales field to go with our analogy instead of sales funnel.
And so when we think about the sales field, that's really allowing for that flexibility. Again, we talk about this, meeting the buyer where they're at instead of forcing them through this predefined pathway. You're not allowing them to have the experience that they need to go back to what Shannon is saying, building that trust, having that deep connection. And so when your sales field can provide that flexibility, it's so much more enjoyable by the client. And so let's take this to another industry. Let's think about the plumbing in our house. I just did a remodel on my bedroom, bathroom, laundry room. I've been dealing with a lot of plumbing. And if you think about it, the water flows from the different rooms based off of where we need it. And so we want your prospects to be able to enter your house or your business at the different stages based off of kind of where they need you. And so when we think about this sales field analogy, just like different crops, they grow at different times of the year. And your potential clients are at different stages in their journey. Some are ready to buy now. Others may need more nurturing. And so when we think about a well-designed sales field, it really ensures that you're planting and nurturing and harvesting all at the right times instead of expecting everyone to be ready at the same moment. And really being a human in all of this interacting is very much so key. And so when we think about the human factor and your sales field, does what you're having people go through an experience, does that journey create that opportunity to connect deeper to a human? Because we buy from humans. We buy when we are emotionally ready. And so when we think about the 4 consulting sales, I'm going to say funnel, but let's actually say sales field stages. I want to break this down into kind of 4 stages so that way we can create that human factor. And so the first one is really that welcome and delivery. And this is where you're delivering that lead magnet, that PDF, that training, that resource that you promised. And this is also your best opportunity to really introduce yourself, your values, and really get that first connection to happen, because these are the emails that have the highest open rates because people actually want the resource that you promised. So stage 1 is welcome and delivery. When we get to stage 2, that's really the getting to know you factor. You really want to help your audience understand who you are, who you help, what you stand for, and sharing those brand philosophies, terms. This is an easy way for those ideal clients to really start connecting with you and with your values through that second email. Shannon, will you take us through stage 2 or stage 3 and 4?
Absolutely. So we're playing with something here at Joyful Business Revolution the last year, and it's been super fun. We're calling it stage 3 is choose your own adventure. right? So if you remember back in the day when we were kids, you could open a book and that book at the end of a little story would say, if you want the story to end like this, flip to page 42. If you want the main character to do this, flip to page 87. Now, I have always loved the Choose Your Own Adventure. We do it at our event in Miami, our content creation in Miami and Phoenix, wherever we take that event. There's always some element of choose your own adventure. So in stage 3, instead of a rigid email sequence, we let people navigate based on their needs. What this looks like in the email is, hey, out of these 3 choices, which one most aligns with what you're trying to achieve right now? And then we'll have a choice A, B, and C. When they click the choice, it will tag them, and then it will drip out a series of content specific to what they're working on right now. What this does is it provides people with different paths to take based on their biggest challenges and how they want to engage with the content. And y'all, I cannot tell you how fun these are to build, but also how fun they are to receive, because this is not being done in the world of email marketing. Okay. Stage 4 is all about how you're going to connect. You need to make it really easy for prospects to talk to you or talk to your team before they buy, and even before they're ready to buy if they're not ready yet. People buy from those they know, like, and trust. So are you asking for email responses? Are you asking people to jump into your DMs on LinkedIn, give some feedback on the podcast, right? We often make that call to action. Are you doing quick get to know you chat calls? Are you really building a community? Because this is the step that ensures they feel supported in making these decisions. Now, most people stop here. If they have a nurture sequence even in place that is doing the job, right? But beyond these 4 stages of the sales field, there's an extra one that we call stage infinity, surprise and delight. And what's this about? So just because someone doesn't buy right away doesn't mean they never will. How are you keeping relationships warm with valuable content? How are you inviting your community and your email newsletter list to come and join you for community events? How are you ensuring engagement so that they come back when the timing is right? And I shit you not, someone just bought from us our Joy Fueled Business Growth Program after hearing me speak in Salt Lake City 10 years ago, and has been reading every email for 10 years until she was ready to buy. That is like mic drop, nurture to the max. Keeping someone engaged, y'all, for 10 years, that's what I want for you and your business.
I love that. And so, Shannon, let's kind of break this down a little bit easy, and let's go back and forth with some of the common questions that we really get about. Again, we're going back to sales funnels, and we're redefining this as a sales field. So what are some of the questions that we get?
Well, Amy, how about this one? You must answer this one in the sales call. How do I know if my sales funnel or sales field is even working to begin with?
Right. And so I think if you're putting a lot of effort, but you're seeing no results, or if you feel like you're forcing people through a process and they're resisting that process, it's really time to revisit your strategy. And, again, we really want this sales field to feel natural for both you and your prospects, for them to have experiences to connect deeper with you. So if you're not seeing the results, but you're putting a lot of time and effort into it, that's a pretty clear indicator that it's not working.
Yeah, I want to share a story right quick. Someone came in to work with me on a lead magnet, which is a sales field or sales funnel. Right. Because when you work with me on this lead magnet, you not only get the high converting lead magnet, but I also build out your landing page, your thank you page, your nurture sequence, just like what we've been talking about here, in the most human way. And Amy, she had so much trauma And I didn't see it until everything started getting pushback. Right.
Mm,
I didn't see it when we sold this service to her, but
yeah.
all that trauma, it was past funnel trauma. She had spent $18,000
Mm,
building a funnel that never produced anything years ago. And
mm,
so when I started talking to her about, well, we're going to try it this way, and I want to position, like everything became a pushback.
mm.
Now, how did I get through it? One, I literally pulled my hair out every day. Okay. Not going to lie. It was hard. Two, I empathized with where she was and I got her on the phone and I had a conversation. And I
Yeah.
said, listen, this is never going to work. If everything that I know works, you're going to push back on. What is going on here? And that's when she broke down and she cried. And she said, I have had spent so much money on this funnel years ago. And I said, but is any of this like that? And she said, no. And the best thing I got at the end of our project, I got an email that says, thank you. You have healed my funnel trauma.
I get that, right? We invest in a lot of things in our businesses and, you know, we invest thinking that it's going to work. And here's the other thing too that I'm very curious on is some people think they can like invest once in creating a lead magnet and then that's the lead magnet for their business. They can invest once in creating a website. That's the website for their business. Y'all, this change and grows as you change and grow. And so I think, just like great messaging and content creation, your lead magnet and your funnel, your nurture email experience needs to change and grow. You can't just build it and set it on a shelf and expect it to work forever for you.
Yeah, I am constantly tweaking our website copy based on the market,
Yeah.
right? You're going to see in a moment, we're going to invite you to a resources page where you can choose which lead magnet you want. All right. So that's a really good point, Amy. And then what do you think is the biggest mistake people make when it comes to really thinking through and building out their sales funnels?
Yeah, so I do think that, people tend to rely on outdated tactics like scarcity-based marketing, scarcity-based urgency, or those really like pushy sales tactics. And we're really seeing that today's buyers value trust and transparency. They want to feel aligned with your brand and your mission and how you're showing up in the world. And so the best funnels focus on that genuine connection and problem solving.
Another question we often get is, do I need a complicated funnel to be successful?
No, and if you didn't hear episode 1 of this season about brilliantly boring business model, please go back after you get done listening to this and listen to the episode right before this. We want to keep this simple. And I think the key is making sure the messaging resonates and the journey feels seamless so that they, again, can have that experience to connect with you deeper and really feel aligned with what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm going to tackle the last one here. And the question is, how can I make sure my funnel is ethical and
Mm.
effective? So, one of the things I love about email marketing, and you've heard me say this over and over again, is it's permission-based marketing, right? You have permission to turn us off. You have permission to unsubscribe. You have permission to resubscribe when you're ready. You can opt in or you can opt out, but you need to make sure your message is clear and that you're always prioritizing building trust over making a quick sale, right? Ethical and effective marketing, ethical and effective sales funnels give the permission and the trust to the person on the other side, right? And you show up consistently, just like I said, over 10 years until someone's ready to buy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Amy, let's sort of sum up this episode as we wrap it up today.
Yeah. So if I think the conclusion here is if your sales funnel isn't converting, it's probably because it's too rigid. It might be too pushy, or you're really missing that human element. And so by shifting to a relationship driven approach, you can really create that funnel, or I'm going to say again, sales field that feels authentic and actually works for you and your ideal clients.
I love it. And we want it to feel good,
Yes.
right? Y'all, I look back at some of my marketing years ago and I cringe.
Mm,
I cringe. Okay. And I don't make myself wrong for it. I've grown. I've worked with different coaches. You have to remember, I was originally trained in copy and content by the guru bros who hit the scene. They all exploded and then they disappeared because their
yeah.
businesses disappeared. Okay. So it's never too late. And we'd love to help you refine your sales process, get it 100% feeling good to you. And so if you're ready to build a sales field that's trust-based and aligned with your values, there's 2 actions today we actually want you to take. It's a choose your own adventure, y'all. So the
We
first
practice
action,
what we preach.
yes, oh my gosh. So the first action, we'd love for you to schedule a 20-minute call with Amy, and she'll walk you through the best strategy for your business in terms of your sales pipeline. And if you need help with marketing, of course, we can help you with that as well. Amy's link is in the show notes. And then the Choose Your Own Adventure, we have put together a free resources page at joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/resources, where you can choose a resource to help you grow your business. Just kind of the psychology of messaging here, so you kind of know the inside. As we said, people come at different parts of their process, different stages of business. So we want you to hop over to the resources page, take a look around, pick one that you need now to help you grow your business, and have a lot of fun with that resource that shows up in your inbox.
And thank you all for tuning in to Grow Your Business for Good. And don't forget, you can always subscribe, leave a review, or share your biggest sales field aha moment with us on social media. Shannon and I are both over on LinkedIn. Shannon is Shannon Hernandez. I am Amy Hager. And until next time, let's create marketing that feels good and works.
Adios.
Bye.